Can I just jump in? I mean, a few things. One is that what James was just talking about. I had read something in an interview with him from a few years ago that he had a great wish to break down the wall between himself and his work. And I think creatively, that's something that really appeals to me and felt very exciting. One of the first things we did, I was in Denmark when this came together, and I got on a plane and I went with James and his family to the Panorama at the Queen's Museum. And what's so incredible about being here and part of this festival is, seeing that panorama and seeing, James talks about finding the macrocosm and the microcosm, and this story sort of zooming in on this particular house and this particular neighborhood in Flushing, and the way that it's also a story about the soul of our country in so many ways. But the challenge, I think, for us was sort of rendering, not in a totally mimetic way, but finding both the essence of these people, and then, it was important to me to not just interpret what he had written. I wanted to find out who this man was and bring that alive as dimensionally as possible, down to the voice and behavior.
And for me, if I approached it like, oh, I'm playing James's mother, I've already removed myself from the character. And I've closed off an opportunity for he and I to find a truth together. So I didn't really think that I was playing James's mother. I had to treat her like I would treat any character. The fact that she was James's mother meant that I was very sensitive in how we discussed how the scenes would be played. I can be a very, very frank and forthright person, and I have a lot of very strong opinions about my characters. But I did adopt a gentler approach on this one. And that...
You did?
I did. Can you imagine? And as a and the thing that drew me to the story, well, first of all, I mean, when your agent calls you and says James Gray has a script and there's an age-appropriate part for you in it, you're like, okay, I know I have to read it before I say yes, but like, so what I'm going to say. And I was so drawn into the contradictions of her, and then, as I got more and more into the project, I realized the contradictions of her, the contradictions of the home, the contradictions of our country, what you said about the soul of our country. And I thought, I don't know how many times I've had an opportunity to tell a story centered around a family that contains so much love and so much rage, and the way intimate spaces can go from goofy to violent very quickly. And I had a feeling that would be familiar, more familiar than one would suppose based on the way we talk about these things or don't talk about these things.
Maybe